Good afternoon, my dear friends. We are going to end of the semester, end of the chapter of open channel flow. In early lecture, we have referred about the non-uniform flow and the uniform flow, which are the basic part of the open channel flow. And we have referred the basic content of what is the specific energy or specific energy curve in the non-uniform flow, then critical depth, critical velocity, minimum specific energy. So these are we have included as in the part 1, where we are observing that when the water are flowing in the river and two different depths of the water are merged each other, then we'll consider that it's the non-uniform flow are generated. But in addition, when two different depths of the flow are merge each other, then mostly we are observing that the energy are start dissipating in between. So these energy dissipations in between we consider as the hydraulic jumps. So these are the part 2. We are considered that we are referring the two different depths of the water and which are interlinked or intermerged with each other, where it has generated the hydraulic jumps over the surface. So today's session I am going to cover it. First, what means of the hydraulic jumps, basic part of the hydraulic jump, the definition of the hydraulic jumps. Then I am going to refer that what are the depth of the hydraulic jumps, how you find out the depth of before the hydraulic jumps and the end of the hydraulic jumps. It means the depth at D1 or D2, and then we'll derive the equation for expression for loss of the energy due to the hydraulic jumps, then length, and the last one is gradually varies flow. So these are the most important part we are going to cover today, and these are the last session perhaps we consider, and after we are considering that the major content which are included in your syllabus are covered in form of the open channel flow, non-uniform. So I will revise it very quick. We started it from the open channel flow, and I'm sure that all you have remembered that when any flow will flow in any channel under the atmospheric pressure, we can consider that it is the open channel flow. And these open channel flow are divided in part of the uniform flow and non-uniform flow. So early chapter we have referred about the uniform flow, where we observed that depth of the flow, velocity of the flow, for slope of the channel or cross section of the channel are constant. So we consider that is the uniform flow. And then next we have referred that when depth of the flow, velocity of the flow which not has constant throughout the cross section of the channel, then we'll consider that is the non-uniform flow. And these are divided again in two parts, rapidly varies flow and the gradually varies flow. So exactly you can see that by help of figure that how the gradually varies flow are generated and how the rapidly varies flows are generated. So these are the portion of non-uniform flow. So you can see that the variation in the flow, see starting from the up that the depth are abruptly changed, is gradually varies over the structures. These are the hydraulic structure we have constructed across the river to obstruct the water or water flow. So this water is slightly clean over the hydraulic structure, fall at the downstream sides, and again it is flowing toward direction of the gravity. But we observe here that when this flow are going to flow over the structure at the downstream side, the depth is suddenly changed. It means the depth are reduced, and then again due to this normal slope at the downstream side, the water will gain the another depth of the water. So here we consider that the depth h1, and then we consider depth h2. So we say that these are the depth h1 are the critical depth, and these are the depth h2 are supercritical depth. Suppose these two depths will be merged each other, then we mostly observe that the hydraulic jumps are created in between. And these we are going to study in detail today, that what are the importance of the hydraulic jumps, why these hydraulic jumps is required, how we find out the depth D1 of the hydraulic jump, D2 of hydraulic jump, how the energy dissipation we can find out for generation of any kind of hydraulic jumps in the river. So we go through non-uniform flow. I think we have referred earlier, so I will not go in detail. I recap it very quick about the specific energy and specific energy curve we have referred earlier. The specific energy is the In form of the equation, we can say that EP plus EK, so it will be considered in form of the equation Z plus H plus V square by 2G, where the depth you can consider that the height depth, you can consider that potential energy, and the velocity you can consider as the kinetic energy. And the same we have referred by help of the first diagram, that these are the energy diagram where it is concentrated in form of the parabola. It consists with the depth, though when we are plotting the line from the inclined line, then this indicate that velocity head, where we can plotting it from the horizontal axis, then it will represent the depth head. So every energy consists with the two head, velocity head and depth head. So we can add the depth head to the velocity head, then we are deriving the equation for energies. So there will be three possibilities, where first is might be the depth is very small, maybe second case is depth is maximum. But again, in both the case you can observe that when the depth is minimum, then velocity head is maximum, then depth is maximum, then velocity head is minimum. But ultimately at the point, if you will observe the energy, specific energy in the river channel, then the value will remain the same. So that again we find out the value of the specific energy is equal to combination or the addition of your velocity head to the depth head. And the third case, where we are always observed that at some point where we get that the specific energy are minimum. So this point where you can find out that the distance from the horizontal to this point as well as from the inclined line to this point, both are remain same. So at the time we are observing that the velocity are critical, the depth is critical. So that's why this point we call that it is E minimum, where depth critical and the velocity critical. So these 2 points will be merged here, then we are receiving the minimum specific energy at the point. Now after that we have derived the equations EH q square 2g h square EP plus EK, and then we have derived the equation for critical depth. So we take the differentiation of specific energy with respect to the depth, and then we derive the equation H is equal to q square upon g 1 by 3, and then we derive the equation for critical velocity. So we inserted those values, and then we'll derive by help of the continuity equation. So we get the ultimately critical velocity is equal to under root of g into critical depth. Then we derive the equation for minimum specific energy, E is equal to h q square by 2g h square, inserting the value of the early equations, and then we receive that we get the values of E minimum is equal to 3hc by 2. And then we have referred the examples regarding specific energy, minimum specific energy, critical depth, and then we referred that the alternate depth, it means the depth h1 and h2 which are coincide with the equipotential line, specific energy line. With these two alternate depth, we consider that it is the alternate depth in the streams, and then we derive the equation for E minimum, and then we have derived the specific energy in the minimum when it is coincide that the depth of the water in the river is 3 by 2. It means the ratio of its 3 by 2 multiplied by h, then we consider that we receive the minimum specific energy, and then refer the examples. So these are all about that we have covered in this section 1, and now we are going to refer at section 2, and now we are looking the portion when the water which are coincide, which are meet at the downstream side of the structures. Most of these concept we use in Stilling Basin. Every dam, every masonry or concrete dam which we are constructed to store the water, but sometimes we observe that the water which are more than the capacity of the reservoir, then we require to evacuate those waters from upstream to the downstream side, and we are providing the spillways so that this spillway guide the excessive water from storing upstream to the downstream. But when they are falling at the downstream, major case we are observed that it start to erode the material at the downstream side, and if start its erosion at the downstream, then it has possibilities that the base of the dam will be open up, and due this reason that it has possibilities that due high thrust maybe the dam will collapse. So preventing those actions, we are providing the stealing basin at the downstream side, where we are observed that we are trying that we make two different depth of water merging to each other, and this case we consider as generation of the hydraulic jump. Although in natural river mostly we observe that the bed slopes are abrupt, somewhere else the bed slopes are positive, somewhere the bed slopes are negative, and due this reason merging the two different types of the slopes, the water depths are changed abruptly. So we are observing that the depth h1 will meet to the any other depth h2 which is mostly higher than the depth h1, then we'll consider that the supercritical flow will meet to the subcritical flow, then always that in between the hydraulic jumps are created. These are considered that very small ripples which are generating on the surface of water, and these ripples is nothing but we consider as the hydraulic jump. And the main function of consideration or generation of hydraulic jumps are energy dissipation, because every water consists when it is flowing through the river path, it consists with some specific energy in it. So we'll reduce or we'll destroy those specific energy from the water, then we require to generate the hydraulic jumps. So these are the important part that we are going to study. So we simply consider that when the supercritical flow will meet to the subcritical flow, the hydraulic jumps are created in between. Now deriving the expression for hydraulic jumps, we initially derive the expression for depth d1 to d2. It means the considerations of the depth at the section 2. Then we'll start initial assumptions for the channel. The flow is uniform, the pressure distribution from the section 1 to 2 before and after the jumps are uniform. Loss due to the friction surface to the bed of the channel from the section 1 to 2 are very small, so we'll neglect, we not consider it, the small friction loss. And the slope of the bed of the channel is very small, this slope we'll consider is very small, so that the component of the weight of the fluid in the direction of the flow are to be neglected, or it is very small. So these are the initial assumptions we are assuming to pertain the equations for the depth of the hydraulic jumps at d1 and d2. Now let me assume that for the section 1 the depth is d1, section 2 depth is d2, velocity at section 1, velocity at section 2, the depth at the section 1, datum at section 2, area of the section 1 and area of the section 1. Now deriving the equation considering the unit width of the channel, we consider that pressure force are acting at the section 1 is P1, the pressure force are acting at the section 2 will be the P2. Friction force are very small, so we neglect here. So we equivalent this pressure force from the section 1 to 2. In fact, we did it earlier also, so we understand we are comparing the values only. By the continuity equation, we know that discharge per unit width Q, yes, so that we have derived it earlier, so we will not take it again, but now we will derive the equation for pressure force. So rho g d1 multiply d1 by 2, so we will derive that d rho g d1 square by 2. Similar case, we will derive the equation for P2, rho g d2 square by 2. So these are the two for pressure 1, these are for pressure 1 at the depth 1, and these are the pressure 2 at the depth 2. Now we will further comparing these equations. So what obvious, we know that the P2 depth, that means the depth 2, that means the section 2, that the pressure are acting on the section 2 are higher to the pressure acting on the section 1. So we say that we'll consider the net force acting on the mass of water. So we will take that P2 minus P1. Now further inserting the value rho g d2 square by 2 minus rho g d1 square, take it the common, and then we'll derive the initial equation for pressure distribution from section 1 to 2. But we know that rate of change of moment in the direction of the force, so mass of the water per second multiply by the velocity in the direction of the. So now mass of the water per second rho q into 1, and then change of the velocity will derive v1 minus v2. So now we'll further inserting those value and comparing in both the sides. So rho g2 d2 square minus d1 square is equal to P rho V1 minus V2. But we know that from the early equation what stands for velocity. Yes, from the continuous equation Q is equal to area into velocity, right? But for small q we know that we have to divide it by help of the depth or the width. Here we consider at deriving the equation for depth, so we'll take the depth. So v1 by q by d1 and v2 by q by d2. Now inserting those value again in this equation, then we derive that rho g2 by d2 square minus d1 square pq q by d1 minus q by d2. Now further we want to simplify this equation to deriving the values for the depth. So we simplify the equation on both the sides. I'm sure that you know that how you are simplifying the equation by help of simple mathematical concept. So the same we have applied here, and at the end we derive the equation for the depth d2 is equal to minus d1 by 2 plus or minus d1 square by 4 2q square g d1. And these are the ultimate equation we have derived. So ultimately we gain by putting the value of q and the other adjoining value in the equations. So we get the value of depth d2 is equal to minus d1 by 2 plus under root of d1 square by 4 2v1 square d1 upon g. And the depth difference you can find out by the alternating depth of the hydraulic jump and considering as d2 minus d1. Now move further, we also derive the equation for the energy loss from the hydraulic jumps, and this energy loss we consider as loss of the head. Head means the loss of the depth of from one to the other section, so that we observe that we are taking the difference of the specific energy E1 minus E2. So we derived the equation earlier d1 v1 square by 2g minus d2 v square by 2g. Now equate the equations from one to the other sides, adding the value of q square from the early equation g d1 d2 d1 d2 plus d1 by 2, inserting those value in the equation, and ultimate at the end we receive the equation for loss of the head in hydraulic jump is equal to d2 minus d1 cube or d1 d2. Now expression for depth of the hydraulic jump in terms of upstream Froude numbers. So we are considering deriving the equation in form of the Froude numbers. So Froude numbers we derived earlier v by under root of g into d1. But we derive the equation from early d2 is equal to minus d1 by 2 under root of d1 square by 4 to v1 square d by g. Now inserting those, simplifying this equation, take the 4 at the common so that we get the values in form of. So we are ultimately try converting the value here so that we get it in form of the Froude number v1 by under root of g d1. So we get the value v1 by under root of g d1. So v1 under root of g d1 consider as the Froude number. So we say that 8 fe. So these are ultimate the aim to derive d2 is equal to minus d1 by 2 d1 by 2 under root of 1 plus 8 fe square. Now d2 is equal to, we'll make the common so that we get the value d1 by 2 under root of 1 plus 8 fe. That means the Froude number square minus 1. So these are the equation we have derived. And now I will take one small example. So I'm sure that how you getting the values for the hydraulic jumps. So see the first example, that the depth of the flow of water at a certain section of rectangular channel 4 meter width is 0.5 meter. This discharge through the channel is 16 meter cube per second if the hydraulic jump take place. Now these are the key part for you to identify that these examples from the non-uniform flow, and again it is from the hydraulic jumps. And then you find out that take place on the downstream side, find the depth of the flow after the jump. These are again the second keywords you can find it, that depth after the jump. So depth after jump, it means consider at the depth exactly coincide at the point 2, section 2, and this point again we consider as it is the depth after the jump, because after that we assume it is constant. So we have to find out the depth d2. So pertaining the values in the equation, we consider that width of the channel is 4 meter and the depth at the beginning of the hydraulic jump is 0.5 meter. Q is equal to 16 meter cube per second. So finding this value discharge per unit width, we consider as Q is equal to Q by B. So 16 by 4, and then we get that 4 meter square per second. Now we derive the equation earlier for d2, so minus d1 by 2 under root of d1 square by 4 to q square g d1. Now d1 we get it 0.5 by 2 under root of 0.5 square by 4, 2 into 4 square, 9.81 and 0.5. And then simplify the equation, then you get it that d2 is equal to minus 0.25 plus 2.566, so that we get the answer is equal to 2.316, but it is in meter. So depth is always present by the meter. So either it is for d1 or either it is for d2. Same way that for b we get it if the unit is in meter, discharge for meter cube per second. So these are the important points that you have to remember when we are deriving the equations and getting the values for required value, informing in the equations or in the examples. Now move further, that I see these are the second example where we are provided the sluice gates. Now in this case you observe that the water which pass through one small passage which we are providing at the bottom of the channel by obstructing it by the sluice gates. So let me leave the sluice gates in upward direction. Then we see that in fact we did one experiment in laboratory where we provided one gates and try to store the water or obstruct the water in the hydraulic tilting flume by the gate actions. So when you open this gate, when you lift this gate in upward direction, then the two different depth of the water will be generated at the downstream side. One is immediate a small depth of the water and rest other will be considered as the high depth. So when these two depths will be merge each other, that means the supercritical depth will meet to the subcritical depth, or the subcritical depth of water will meet to the supercritical depth, then always and always the energy will dissipate in between, and this energy dissipation will consider as the hydraulic jumps. So now here the another example considered as we have the sluice gate discharge water into the horizontal rectangle channel with the velocity of 10 meter per second, depth of the flow is 1 meter. Determine the depth of the flow after the jump. Now again depth of flow after the jump, then we could find that the value for d2 and then consequent loss in the total head. So HL we derived earlier, then we get the equation in form of d2 minus d1 cube for d1 d2. So now let have to see the example, what are the values are provided in the example. So depth of d1 0.3, 2 meter, then q is 1.5 meter cube per second, so we get the small q, q by b. Critical depth we definitely will get it by help of the equation HC. If we required we can put it in the equation, otherwise we go through the alternate depth, and alternate depth consider as d2 minus d1 by 2 under root of d1 square by 4 to q square g d1. Inserting all the values, simplify the equation, then we get the value of 0.4862 meter. And the height of the hydraulic jumps difference we get it by help of d2 minus d1. d1 we have, so that we can put the value for d2, so we get the difference, so we get the height of the hydraulic jumps, and the value is 0.1862 in meter. Again the height, it means we measure it in meter. And the loss of the hydraulic jumps HL is equal to d2 minus d1 cube for d1 d2, inserting those values, and then we get the loss of the energies, hydraulic jumps kg, but mostly this unit will go on. Then we'll consider the loss of the head, and head we measure in meter. So again if you put the values in form of meter, then your answer is correct, 0.01106 in meter. So these are about that how you finding out the values. And I will take one more example considering in form of the FE. We derive the equation for FE. So let have to go for the example, and then you get the values of deriving the equations, right? So these are the example. Exactly we have to derive a sluice gate discharge water into the horizontal rectangle channel. Velocity is given you, flow is given you 0.4 meter, then you get it that these are the depth d1 is given you, width of the channel b is given you 8 meter. Determine whatever the hydraulic jump will occur, and if so find its heights, loss of energy, also determine the power loss in the hydraulic jumps. So v1 velocity is given you, d1 b1 q you could find it, and then you can compare it with the prod number v1 under root of gd1, so you get the value of prod number. Then we get the value of d2, applying the equation in form of the prod numbers, d1 by 2 under root of 1 plus 8f square minus 1, so you insert the values and then you get the value for d2. So these are the two alternate ways that you get the value for d2. Either you, if you have velocity, then use this velocity in prod numbers and then you get the values. Otherwise you get adopting the equation earlier and get the value for d2. Both the case the values are same, then you can find out the height of the hydraulic jumps is d2 minus d1, and then you are comparing with loss of the head loss, d2 minus d1 cube for d1 d2, insert the value and then you get the answer. Important part is how you find out the power loss. So that we have the equation rho g q hl by 1000, and then we insert the value q for velocity into area, that we have the value for d1 into b, inserting that 1000 into 9.81 19.2 and then divide by the 1000, then we get the value in kilowatt. So these are all about hydraulic jumps, so important part, and I'm sure you get the references from the book Fluid Mechanics and Hydraulic Machine, Dr. R.K. Bansal, and this exactly I have shared it in the Google class also, so you get the more reference about the chapter from the Bansal. And most of if you remember, then we have started the concept from the dimensional analysis to the chapter 2 is the open channel flow, then we have considered uniform flow, and then we consider non-uniform flow. So these are the some important part of the considering the advanced to advanced hydraulic structure, or either hydraulic mechanism, that or either the fluid mechanics, and this is all about that. So we have covered here the entire part of your syllabus, and I upload the same video in YouTube. You can refer, and if you find any difficulties, you write mail to me, and the assignment is already shared with you earlier by help of the Moodle platform as well as by help of the Google class. The code for Google class is ZXLBLBG. So now you start that. If you find any difficulties in hydraulic jump, initially I insist you start writing your assignments for hydraulic jumps. I have checked your assignment for the early one and it's good, but till you require work hard to complete the non-uniform flow considering the section 1 and 2, and start writing your assignment in form of non-uniform flow, the specific energy, critical depth, critical velocity, and the hydraulic jumps. And finding any difficulties, you write the mail to me and we will solve together. Thank you so much